All right. So Mark, why don't you share with our audience here how this came to be? How did we get to?
Yeah, no problem. And I think, everybody on knows what I'm trying to do with this little company with BAMDC. And along the way, Rungi said, hey, you should connect with Mike O'Neill. He seems like he knows a lot about LinkedIn because I was talking about LinkedIn in the summer. And then in the fall, Mike and I connected. And then Mike sort of gave me a quick demo of Sales Navigator, and I was blown away. And then I went back to, doing my work, and Mike checked in occasionally. How's it going with your little experiment job?
Your project.
project. And then about a week ago, I was in LA and I got in trouble. I double booked, and I called Mike. I said, I'm in a fix. Can you do a Sales Navigator training for me with one of my guys? And oh, Nancy's saying, turn on your, no, I'm not turning on my video. So,
No, I am though.
no. So then Mike covered for me and it worked out great. And so we said, we have something here because I know I'm going to have a problem trying to train everybody that I'm going to need to train. And Mike certainly knows Sales Navigator. I know it at this point, but I think Mike knows it better than me. So it seemed like a great combination. Mike's wisdom on Sales Navigator, his ability to throw together something like this technologically, I could never pull this off. And then my knowledge of the financial services industry and sort of getting Mike up to speed on the language of financial services. So that's what this is, a coming together of his brilliance about LinkedIn and technology and my knowledge about financial services and the need that financial advisors have for LinkedIn and the powerful LinkedIn Sales Navigator. So I'll pass it back to you, Mike.
All right. Well, I have a few slides in the program here. You kind of get to know me and all, but we're all Burnsville folks from Burnsville High School, class of '78, and I put on the high school reunion, and in doing that, I got re-injuvenated with a whole lot of folks, including Tim and other folks that I might not have stayed in as much contact with over the years. So every 10 years, you knock on the door, and here we are. And it's amazing where folks are. I have a really high percentage of folks that I grew up with that are in financial services in some sort of way. I mean, just go down our little list of stuff. Not so many in engineering, which is where I went. My time was in engineering. So we'll get into that a little bit here. We'll kind of talk about that in the program here. But I've been doing this a very long time. And the things that I'm talking about today are the most advanced of advanced stuff. And I just can't lay it all out for everybody today. So I'm going to lay out pieces out here with a little bit of detail. And this is a weekly event. So next Friday, we'll do another one. Next Friday, this is a standing time and place for Talking LinkedIn, talkinglinkedin.com. So I'm going to cut my video for a moment, and then we'll go and jump into the program. All right, here we go. So in terms of, let's go, all right. There we go. I've been doing this a long time, like we said, and in the old days back then, we didn't even have pictures for people, so you didn't know if Pat was a man or a woman. So in my days of the early days, this is wild west in the early days. I'm user number 125,841. So I maxed out on LinkedIn in 2009 at 30,000 connections. And I do a lot of these trainings, as you see. Do a lot on Facebook as well. Forbes looks at folks like us and says, if you're dedicated to something and you're really good at it, you got a chance to get on their list. And I was like number 25 on the Forbes top 50 list a couple times. I want to assume that everyone isn't totally sold on why LinkedIn in the first place. So let's start with the why, all right? There's a book, great book called Start With Why, right? Well, the main reason is this is where customers are. Okay, your existing customers, they're there. Go search for them. Go look up your existing customers on LinkedIn, and they're there. Yep. Now, if you think that your existing customers are a good model for your prospects, you're correct as well. You can find folks just like them. And the tools out there in particular show you how to find folks just like these other folks. It's a really marvelous system, but everyone's there. 600 million users, half of the United States is on LinkedIn. And folks are pretty active out here. There's folks that aren't, absolutely, more than half are not active, right? They don't tend to show up in our searches and all. They're on page 10 of 10, if you know what I mean. The active folks are there and LinkedIn brings them right in front of us. It's really wonderful. And all you have to do is go into Google and Google your name and see what shows up. You're going to probably see someone with your name and a LinkedIn profile in the top slot, maybe even a search on that name. It's the top place on Google. Your website's still there, but it's even lower, all right? And I've got a special, I'm an author, so I have a little panel on the right here that you get if you're an author. It's kind of nice. So the most important thing about LinkedIn to the folks that I know is that it's a database, and people update their own data so it's current. And many places that you call databases online are not current, not at all. Go to ZoomInfo, go to data.com, oh, he left 2 years ago because the data just is not up to date. But there's no 2-year-old data on someone's LinkedIn profile. They update that data as soon as they change jobs. So what I'm going to teach you today falls into these 3 basic steps, these 3 elements. The first one is how you look. It's your profile, how you look, visual stuff. Not words as well here. I'm not saying it's just pictures and all. But are you dressed for success? The second part has to do with your LinkedIn network and how you connect to people, the connections between people, those little lines between the boxes and stuff. All right? And the third part is engaging folks that you're connected to. So I'm connected now. Now what? What do we do with that? So on the profile side, it's really a strategy around getting more people to look at your profile and getting folks that would look at your profile as a credential, okay? As if they're in the job world, show me your resume. In the LinkedIn world, show me your profile. And your profile's got to look the part. Because you'll want to get found in searches and all, and you fit in those searches with keywords. Words you want to be found. And there's a whole lot of special terminology in the financial world like there is in the technology world where I spent much of my career. And you've got to think as if you're writing a website. You're doing content for your website, but your website is on LinkedIn and it's a profile. Just use that same principle and you'll be fine. But being found is one thing. Being picked and selected is another. So you're on a list with 24 other people now. You got there. You're now got 1/25th of a chance to be clicked on. What do we do there? Well, we dress it up a little bit. Make it look nice, an image behind us, a good inviting picture, a headline that speaks to people, a headline, a summary that comes and speaks. We've got videos that play, a lot of stuff that looks good at a glance that causes people to want to get pulled in more. And with a profile like this, you can really step out because you've got a dandy digital footprint. Let me show you what that means. A digital footprint is how you look when you like or comment or share or do anything. It seems like you're getting spied on no matter what. You leave trails behind you. And when you're doing that, this is what people see of you. All right, so this is the most important of the most important. So we got a freebie here for folks to dress up their profile for business. I'll give you a link at the end on how to get it. All right, so there's a freebie. It's a 4-pager, really quick and simple. Do what it says, half an hour maybe, in that sort of range. Dress up your profile and you're set for business. Part 2, all right, your LinkedIn network and the connecting process and what that enables. So the LinkedIn network is a little different than many other networks. It says a 3-tier network. That means I'm connected to people who are connected to people that I'm not connected to, and so are they. Okay, easy kind of thing to kind of understand how this goes apart here. All right. So when you're doing things, you can segment on just the folks that I'm connected to. I have certain powers with them. I'm going to talk about that in a moment. What are the magical powers I have? When I connect to somebody, what can that do for me? Or the folks that are not yet connected, those are 2s and 3s. So the size of your network, there I am on the right. And the idea, grow your network. You're not going to grow it as high as me probably, but you'd like to grow it to thousands like this. Most folks who come in with us have 500 connections, less than 1,000, and they have many thousands by the time, we do our first little review. We get like, wow, we really got that going. That's what I'm going to show you a bit about.
Hey, Mike, quick question. What's the magic of 500? Why does LinkedIn only show 500? Is there some algorithmic thing, or why do they do that?
It was part of that problem and part of that issue. There was a race to see who could have the biggest numbers in the early days, like when I was in it. And you could at times. I could have shown you 4,997 or so connections. It would show me there. But it got to be such a race that they just wanted people to just stop connecting just to connect to win a race. It's the gamification. So the first coin you get is at 500, and beyond that it doesn't show anything unless you go to certain levels, certain areas to look. Okay, and I'm not going to cover the kind of deep areas where to look to see how many connections someone has over 500, but there is a spot you can look at.
Very good. Thank you.
You want to get to there. That's graduating high school now. It used to be a college degree. Now you're just graduating high school, getting to 500. Because more really is better, and more better is better. Okay, I mean, not just more of anything. We're not looking for garbage, but we don't find garbage here. We find just the right stuff, and more of the right stuff is what I'm talking about. So the process is we want to connect with people to open all of these doors, make all of these things possible, all right? Make it possible for us to get involved in engagement with these folks. Because our engagement options are a whole lot different. The engagement process really starts when we connect with folks. Very limited engagement we can do with folks we're not connected to. But very rich options once we do connect. So once we connect with folks, we can send them messages on LinkedIn, just like an in-mail, but we're connected. Now it's free, and we can send as much as we want. It's beautiful. We're going to cover that quite a bit here. We can send emails to people because unless they specifically do something, their email address is shown to us, our connections. We see their email address. Ha-ha, let's go over, fire up our Google. There we go. Google, go Google. All right? Go Outlook. You can endorse people, and I don't suggest that you really endorse people that you don't know, but if you know somebody, endorse them. Frankly, it doesn't even matter what skill you endorse them for. They'll just be happy that you endorse them. Okay? So I know Rungi, I can endorse Rungi for all kinds of things. I can come back tomorrow and endorse Rungi again. Come back the next week, endorse Rungi again. You can do that over and over. Just pick a skill, pick a skill, pick a skill. Recommendations work kind of like that, but you only recommend somebody once. But you can't recommend somebody or be recommended unless you're connected. I put my phone number in. A lot of people put their phone number in a field called phone number right in LinkedIn. It's a field that only shows, once again, if we connect. And that home page of LinkedIn that shows all these people talking about stuff, all these updates and news about people, that's only your connections. So if you want to see that, you want to see your connections, news and stuff, connect. Otherwise, that's off. So none of this is on board with you unless you connect. All right. So our goal is to turn 2s and 3s, people we're not connected to, into people, as we say, that we are. All right. So one way to do this is to make it a systematic system. We call it campaigns. And campaigns are this systematic process. We find just the right folks. We get connected up with them. We engage them afterwards in some way. All right. So I thought you might want to know a little bit about how this goes. So generally, when we're going to be taking a concerted effort to go find prospects, might be people we already know, might not be. We're going to use searches here, in this case here, to find folks, in this case, that we generally don't already know. If they're folks we do already know, we're going to find them one at a time and connect up with them. We'll do that. That's a separate process. I'm talking about working with strangers. Okay. So these parameters go into these places, and it looks a little bit like this. You place your bets, like if you're on a craps table or a roulette table, a little over here, a little over there, and spin it up. And then we get our list of folks. So the process of what we're going to do with these folks is a campaign process. And there's a message called a connection request. That's the invite, as you might say, the fancy words connection request, a CR. After people connect, it's called a welcome message. Okay, welcome to my network. Welcome. And the folks who don't respond to that welcome part, well, guess what? They get a kick in the shins. It's called a reminder. And you might send more messages after. But this is the general principle. You get 2 swings at bat. And this is what a connection request looks like. You've got a first name part. If you're using systems or automation or tools or anything, you've got a variable in there. Otherwise, you just put it in yourself manually. And I like the little phrase, would you be open to connecting on LinkedIn? I like it a lot. I really do. And that phrase just kind of, you'll find some folks will say, sure, I'll connect with you. And they don't realize they could just click, okay, here, connect. It's kind of funny. It's a little bit of a play on words. I've actually sent notes that say, well, just then please click on the accept button, okay? But it's better to do this permission-based thing. And this first sentence is about how much to say. You want to have an unusual word in there. We use amazing here or something. Some system things you do later to filter on your inbox on the word amazing, just to find the folks that were part of a campaign and all. There's some kind of fancy things we do with the inbox. And in this word, it's the word amazing. We might use the word intriguing or insightful. That's a little keyword we key on to do filtered inbox searches. So after they connect, maybe everybody or maybe just certain people will send a message afterwards trying to see if we can't get them involved in a conversation. All right. And there's all kinds of variables to this. You might put in a Calendly link. You might send a link to a piece of content or so. All kinds of variables that happen in doing these messages. Once again, we can kick them in the shins if they don't answer to the first one. Lots of strategies. This is just a simple one here around welcome messages and reminders. You might send 4, 5, 6, 7 or so of these. You might do a little mix up of send an email now and send a message later. Maybe eventually get really excited though. I love this person. I'm going to pick up the phone and call them and tell them just how much I love them and appreciate the fact that they're on the phone with me. So this doesn't all happen just with LinkedIn itself. It doesn't. You gotta have a little bit more juice. You do. You gotta be ready for it. You gotta be cranked up for it. All right. And the reason is you need the filters. Okay. And filters filter people in, find the folks we want, and the filters let us filter people out that we don't want. So this is using technology so that as a person, we don't have to spend as much time going through lists full of folks that are not qualified. Let the software do that for you, and that's Sales Navigator. So I don't know if folks here have tried premium versions or Sales Navigator, and so our new registration system starts asking these questions and all. But if you have tried LinkedIn Premium, I want to talk about this because your experience in LinkedIn is just taken a little further, just a tiny little bit further with LinkedIn Premium. The shackles are taken off in terms of how much sending you can do and all, but you don't get really any extra filters. You're still 11 filters for free, 11 filters for $60. It's not much of a bargain. But Sales Navigator that had that big screen where we placed all those bets and stuff, that's another story, and it's only $20 more a month. So I guide everybody there, and you can get a free month. Free month. You got to put a credit card in, and at day 30 or so, it's not free anymore. So I'm going to do a demo of Sales Navigator for us, a live demo, as opposed to looking at PowerPoint slides for the most part. I wanted to show you the things that mattered there. But we'll do a live demo of Sales Navigator, and I've got another freebie here. So this is a 4-page guide that teaches you Sales Navigator from zero to hero, including fancy things like accounts and leads and tags, those sorts of things. So in the process of getting help, the first thing is I suspect that everybody should get these 2 documents. All right. This is the profile info guide for how to dress up your profile to attract people and to be ready to do more active things. The Sales Navigator info guide teaches you the things you need to know about Sales Navigator to get going in terms of your fancy searches and your tags and all that kind of fancy stuff.
So Mike, just a quick one. These are 2 documents that your company, Integrated Alliances, put together, and we'll email these at the end?
No, you can go to this link here to download them, but in future documents that we send out to people, I will include a link directly to here in those there. So don't worry, you'll be seeing this link a lot.
Great. Okay, thank you.
All right. So at the end, we'll have a ability for you to raise your hand and do some chat. I'm working on the configuration of the system and all, so that our text, our chatting and Q&A and stuff is a little bit on the try side here. All right, folks. So profiles is the single big entry point to here. You can't do much on LinkedIn unless you've got a really good looking profile. All right, and your profile has to look at certain things in particular. Okay, the things at the top that matter, that headline, the stuff you see right there really matters. The stuff on the left that you see here is your job title. On the right over here is your summary. These are the big 3. Okay, this is what you want to focus on when you're doing a profile. We do these as well. Laura Brant on my team does these profiles. Laura did this profile here. Another thing of interest to a lot of folks is, I'd like this one-on-one stuff. I'd like you to work directly with me, be my fitness coach on LinkedIn. Get me to where I want to go, just to me. I don't want to sit in a class with a bunch of people. I want you to do it just for me. Okay. And the things I kind of showed you about the campaigns and the Sales Navigator searches and all works really well in a program that takes usually 30 days, but it goes for 60. And we do Zoom like this, face-to-face, sharing screens. Some folks just have more money than time, you might say, and are more bottom line folks rather than wanting to kind of be geeky a little bit and get in the middle of the process. We do these for you as a service as well. And you can get 30 minutes with Mark or I. I have a special link, and Mark, you just email Mark there, but that link that you see there will get you a 30-minute call with me, and we'll even screen share on the call, log into your account, do some fancy things there.
And you have a fancy logo and I don't.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So let's get into a little bit of demo here, and I'll see what I can do to open up the Q&A, raising hands and stuff, see what that system works. That's a little bit new to me here. But
hey, Mike, Mike, can I ask you questions while you're getting set up there? I just want to hit a couple of things. So it seems like on LinkedIn, it's all about sort of 2 things. You want to find people and you want to be found. So if you want to be found, that's why it's so important to have your profile cleaned up and optimized. And that's what your company can help optimize a profile. And then it's in terms of going out and finding other people to build your network. That's what Sales Navigator is going to do. It helps you go out there and fish and filter and find other people. Am I summarizing it right?
That's right. That's right. That's a really good way to describe that.
And I think in the, at least in the financial advisory world, it's, you know, it's hard to be found, and it's hard to find people. You know, the do not call list and a lot of things have been shut down for financial advisors. So being able to find a system like this where you can gently reach out, I think is profound, because even though it's, you know, it's $80 a month, just finding one client, one prospect, will pay for the entire year. And financial advisors don't need hundreds of clients. I mean, each year, if they can just get a couple
Sure.
great clients a year, it makes a huge difference. That's why I fall in love with this, what Sales Navigator can do for the financial advisor.
Well, it's the targeting that's so wonderful in particular. When I say targeting, I really meant when I say filter in and filter out. Because chasing down unqualified people that got caught up in a search is nothing that anybody gets really happy about. And if you've used lists and other services, you know what I mean. This list is garbage. 1 out of 10 are good or so. And in this case, you know, you get 8 out of 10 that are good instead of the 1 or 2 out of 10. And you can be as selective as you want, and you learn over time. You learn that, for example, I learned that when I search for presidents, I find assistant to the president. It clouds up my searches. Well, guess what? We can eliminate assistants from it with some special wording, some special programming, sort of. So now the assistants are gone, and then the retired folks are gone, and the part-timers are gone, and then the interns are gone. And now you're getting a better list. It's a little smaller, but it doesn't include folks that you didn't want to be there in the first place. So I've got up on my screen right now, Sales Navigator. This is the home page. I'll cut here. We'll go right to it. You notice across the top, we have menus and a big search bar here. And this little drop down here. This little drop down here says search for leads. This is the single most important part in Sales Navigator. It's hidden behind this little link, this little drop down. But that's the single most important part right there. Advanced search for leads. That's that big screen where you lay all your search stuff down. All right, well, we're going to go there. What you see in the middle here is chatter, so to say. I'd say this is the comments and the news and the shares and all alike of the folks that I have saved onto 2 lists, a lead list and an account list. Lead list is people that I save. Account list are their employers for the most part. Right? And this in the middle is stuff from them. It's not stuff from everyone I'm connected to. It's only folks I care about. This is really useful here. And as you scroll down and see who's done what, you can like, comment, and share on things as they're happening. Okay, I'm not going to get sidetracked there. I told you the most important thing was this search. The other thing is an inbox. You get a separate inbox on Sales Navigator versus LinkedIn. Okay, you have 2 inboxes. It's a troublesome thing. That's we spend some time coaching on how to handle inboxes. Okay, that's not straightforward, not at all. But the search is pretty interesting. And if you go to search for leads, this takes you to a page where you can lay your bets down, like we talked about. All right, I've already got one filled out. So I filled one out already. I'll show you what it looks like when all the bets are placed. Okay, so let's see what it's like with everything all on one page. All right, these are the fields that matter the most. Geography, where they are. You go after 2s and 3s, folks you're not connected to. I went with two industries, airlines and aviation. I just started at the A's, worked my way down. The job titles, check this out. See what we got for job titles. Long list of titles here. Usually we'll hover over and show you that. I want folks with 6 or more years of experience, certain size companies and all. And when I click it, I see my 119 results. Now here's my target list right there. I might add a tag to put them on a separate list even, all right? I can save them as a lead to add them to my lead list. It's about lists, target lists. Here's a target list called a tag list. Here's a target list called saving them as a lead. Now, one more interesting thing is if Dan's really interesting to me, I can find more people. Oops, find more people just like him. Let's find more people like this one. So this is where the lead magnet just gets even bigger and bigger and bigger. It just keeps expanding, pulling more stuff in. Here's other folks like that guy. And guess what? I can do that again and find other folks like this person. So, and then tag them, save them, save them, save them, save them. So this is the big wonderment of sales navigators working with these lists, you know, and how you can find one person, another. And,
Hey, Mike, quick question up on the dashboard there where you were showing the results.
Yeah.
I think it showed 100. What's like the physical limit, or what's your advice? And like, so let's say you do a search and you come up with 2,000, or, you know, you come up with, what's the optimal number where it gets overwhelmed? You know, your experience, explain that.
That's a really good point. It's 1,000 is the number of results that you can harvest from a search. Okay. So anything over 1,000 is wasted unless you think about, you know, those last few pages aren't very good anyway. So having 1,000, 1,100, 1,050, just not way over 1,000, not 1,200, 1,400, 1,500. You know, when you get into that or so, you start to try to whittle it down a little bit. Break it up into smaller searches. You know, instead of 50 to 200 and 200 to 500, do 50 to 200 and then do 200 to 500 instead of grouping them together. It's a good question.
Just because the list, you'd never be able to get through the list, right? It's just too many. You'd never get
Magic number on lists and searches is 1,000. Okay, just keep that in mind. That's the magic number.
Thank you.
So the other interesting things about the campaign process is that you can say, I'm going to do so much today, and I'm going to do so much tomorrow, and so much the next day, and so much the next day, because you can. Here we've got 100 in this list here. Let me get this out at the bottom. So today I'll do this page. Tomorrow I'll do that page. Tomorrow I'll do that page. Tomorrow I'll do that page. Or you can decide, you know what, I really dig this. I'd rather do 100 today and 100 tomorrow and 100 the next day and 100 the next day. And that's where automation and systems come into play. And that's where the fancy stuff is. And these weekly Talking LinkedIn shows are going to talk about automation, some other things out there, ways to save time. But we're starting to run out of time here for today's show. And we want to try to keep it snappy in this 30 to 40 minute sort of range. And in our next episode and all, we'll have things configured a little differently, the chat windows and the asking questions and the video, and you maybe see Mark on video. You want to see that? Mark on video next time? Huh?
Yeah.
So we'll do that. And talkinglinkedin.com, in just a little bit here, we'll have a registration for the next event. We'll clone this off, essentially, and it will point to that event instead. So you can sign up easily for next week's event as well. Everyone who registers here is going to get an automatic email out that's going to be sent to them, and we'll have some links in there as well for you. So,
all right, well, great. So thank you so much, Mike. Let's just old school one more time. What's your phone number if someone wants to reach out to you and have a further discussion?
The best thing someone can do is actually go to schedulewithmike.com to schedule a call.
Perfect.
That's the best way to do things.
Yep.
Don't call, schedule a time, and we're dedicated. And I'll be already, when you do that, I'm already looked in, and I've looked at you, and I've seen all kinds of things. So it's really effective time as opposed to getting caught off guard, if you know what I mean.
Great stuff. Thank you so much.
All right, everyone. See you next week, I hope.
All right. Thanks, Mike.